If 3 people are telling him that he's crazy, are you going to listen to him or are you going to listen to the voice of experience? Today, we're going to talk about how to spot a narcissist on the first date.
We're talking subtle signs and how to not end up being trauma bonded to someone who all they end up talking about are their deadlifting stats, what investments they're going to make, and themselves at a later point in time.
We want to clue you in to how to notice the different aspects of a narcissist right up front from the very first date.
And there's some very subtle signs that you can look for while you're on your first date with a narcissist. And it's very important to spot these up front so you don't end up trauma bonded to someone for years who's been gaslighting you and causing you self-doubt and all sorts of other issues. And if you spot these signs up front on the first date, hopefully you can avoid all sorts of unhappiness.
We know all about narcissists. There isn't a single family lawyer, a divorce lawyer, who hasn't had their clients come in and give them chapter and verse on exactly what happened from the first date that they started with a narcissist that they didn't recognize was a narcissist.
Absolutely. And if you can recognize this up front, this is going to save you hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, because when you divorce a narcissist, after you've been married to them, they're going to make your life hell and your legal bills are going to go through the roof. So listen carefully up front to the answers to the questions, because this is what's going to save you money and time in your life.
Okay, so let's start with the questions. There you are on the first date. He keeps checking his reflection in his iPhone.
Oh my God, that's horrible. Red flag. If you're sitting there and you're in front of him on your first date, you're excited for the day. He should be focused on you and you should be focused on him. And if all he's doing is looking at himself, your entire relationship is going to be about him. That means he's probably a narcissist.
He's going to be looking at himself, or he's going to be looking all around to see if everybody is looking at him, checking out this, checking out that, and not communicating with you and not focused on you. That is another red flag. So it's all about him, or it's all about him and people looking at him, thinking that he's so wonderful. The purpose of the date is to get to know you.
Now, question number 2. He ordered for me without asking. Now, I know that many years ago, many gentlemen were asked to order for ladies, but this is a different time. What do you think about this?
Even when they were asked to order, they would ask their partner, what are you in the mood for? What do you want to order? What would you like? And then they would order for them. So they didn't just order for them. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And if he is going to not ask you and just order for you without your giving him consent and saying, oh, you've been here before, you know what's good, why don't you order for me? If that didn't happen, this is the last date. I don't know if I would run out the door. I'd eat the food first and then run out the door.
I think I'd go running up front, especially with my food allergies. Next question that we got from one of our viewers. Every story he told was about someone trying to sabotage his success. Is this bad luck? Does he have a persecution complex? Or is it a side of manipulation?
This is somebody who you should run out the door. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a persecution complex or it's manipulation. He's trying to get you to feel bad for him. He's presenting a life that you don't want to be part of. If
Absolutely.
that is what's happened, you don't want to be there.
Absolutely. You don't want to partake when someone always acts as if they're the victim in everything, and they never accept responsibility for any of their own actions.
Hi, guys. Adam Isaacs, voice of the male audience. If we have an enemy, are you saying we should just keep that to ourselves?
On a first date, I don't want to hear about your enemy. I do not want to hear, everything, you have to have filters, and you have to have a filter on the first date and not discuss things like that. Let it come out later. Let it come out later. it's not something that you want to, but in this question, this viewer said multiple times that it happened multiple times, that he's being persecuted, showing that he's being manipulated. I think he is manipulating the facts and not taking responsibility for his actions. He is doing you a favor. He is absolutely doing you a favor by showing you who he is. Listen to what the person says. That's what you have to do. You have to listen to what the person says and then go back and think about it. Sometimes in the middle of dinner, you may not think about it, but when you go back, you need to think 3 times and 4 times about everything that they have said to you, because it all coalesces, it all comes together, and then you get a picture of what this person is like now and what this person is going to be like in the future. Here's another question. You went out on the first date and you asked a lot of questions about him, but he didn't ask any questions about you. What do you think about that scenario?
I think that's a narcissist. They're completely self-involved and they're delusional if they think that you're into them and they haven't even learned anything about you. I think it's a huge red flag that this person isn't asking you any questions and isn't into you. I'd say go running.
Anyone who has no interest whatsoever in you and your life is someone you don't want to be with.
So the next question that came in, and I hear this one a lot, he brought up all 3 of his exes and said each one was crazy. Should I ask for the receipts or the check?
Oh my God, this is standard narcissism. This one is terrible. This is the first date. We're talking about first dates here. This person is saying, all my exes are crazy. If 3 people are telling him that he's crazy, are you going to listen to him or are you going to listen to the voice of experience with ex number 1, ex number 2, and ex number 3? Believe me, that is a red flag to run out the door because he is so focused on the past, there's no ability to focus on the future. Again, no ability to be with you. And you are going to be the 4th one he talks about, the 4th ex he talks about who says that he's crazy. With narcissists, it just comes out. They can make up that they're going to talk about other things, but who they are really comes out on the first date. Next question. He says he's looking for a woman who doesn't need validation. Does that send up red flags to you?
That definitely sends up red flags to me, especially if he's sitting there and he starts fishing for compliments and doing all sorts of other stuff. I think this can be highly problematic.
And then he says, you're looking for validation. That means that he has to look at you and actually say, oh, you did that well. How wonderful it is to be with you. This is what you're interested in. I think that's really great. How can I help you? No, none of that. This is someone who's only interested in themselves.
Absolutely.
And we both agree, walk away, run.
Now, the next question from our viewers, he talked about his career goals for 30 minutes. He never once asked what I do. What do you think about that?
This is another instance of someone who is showing you. They are demonstrating. You're there for an hour. They talk about themselves for the hour, and you don't exist. You're not going to exist in the relationship ever. The takeaway from this is if you're there and you're sitting at a table with someone who is supposed to be getting to know you because you want to have a relationship, if you walk away from that encounter thinking the person wasn't interested in you, didn't ask any questions of you, only talked about themselves, that is a narcissist, and that is a reason to run in the other direction.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes you also see the opposite from narcissists, and you'll get the love bombing, where they start overly flattering you, overly talking about you, almost immediately at the very early stages of a relationship, talking about how in love they are with you and giving you gifts, expensive gifts, flattering you, sending you flowers, calling you nonstop. That's a red flag. They're sending too much attention, and it's not normal for a relationship.
Yes. So it's the one end of the spectrum and the other end of the spectrum, not paying you any attention and paying you overly much attention. You really really, really need to understand what's happening and to go back and think, is this normal? It's not normal to have somebody who doesn't ask you any questions. It's not normal to have somebody who tells you that you are the most wonderful thing that they have ever met. It's just two ends of the same spectrum of somebody being unrealistic, who's really only interested in getting you under their thumb so that they can put you down the next minute.
Now, spotting a narcissist early will save you time, money, and years of therapy. So please look at all these signs. And if you start seeing the red flags, you want to go running.
There's a big world out there, and I'm sure there is someone who is going to be wonderful that you're going to meet.
If the appetizer comes with gaslighting and grandiosity, we want to hear from you. DM us at @Mayersohn Law Group or send us an email, info@loveexesos.com. We want to hear the stories directly from you.
And remember, marriage is a contract. Be sure to read the fine print.